Hello, my name is Nicole, and I'm going to be doing a book review on Franny and Zooey by J.D. Salinger. Okay, I really enjoyed this book. I know why I enjoyed it, but generally, personally, I didn't like Catching the Rye. I know, shoot me, I'm a terrible person. I am obviously not cultured enough to appreciate good art, but however, I know that, J.D. Salinger is known, that's his best known work, Catcher in the Rye. And everyone kept on telling me to read Franny and Zooey, and I was like, okay, I'll get to it eventually, because I didn't think it was going to be that good of a book. But I give this a 5 out of 5. This book is absolutely lovely. First of all, it starts off with this girl named Franny, and she's, with her boyfriend, and she, starts, talking about, how disillusioned she is with certain people and certain things, and her chosen career. And her boyfriend is like, I'm perfect. Let me talk about my flambert paper or whatever. And it's just you get to see them and they interact, and then you get to Zooey, which is the second half of this book, because they're actually two short stories just sort of woven together. And Zooey is this very pompous, rude, and callous, very handsome, very taunting and cynical and rude. And he's just awesome, the typical I don't give a care, artistic, I'm disillusioned and misanthropic sort of guy. And he's her brother. And you get to see him interact with his mother, who he treats terribly, and you get to see him interact with Franny, who's currently having this religious epiphany, and is trying to do these things which are causing her to have a sickness. And it's just very interesting to listen to. What I liked best about these two short stories was the dialogue. I could really relate to the Franny character in that the search for religious epiphany, and the need for something real to happen, and for people to stop being, as Holden Caulfield put it, phony. Because I could feel that in her, and I could feel that need in her, and I was very relatable. And with Zooey, you saw the guy version of this, and the more mature version of this, because he's 5 years older than her, and how disillusioned, how stupid people can be. But at this point, because he's more mature, you see him dealing with it, sort of an amazement in how that he has to deal with this, and the fact that he can't be normal like everyone else. And I really enjoyed seeing how people, outsiders, view normal people, and it was just really interesting. I give this book a 5 out of 5, definitely. It's beautifully written, and usually the problem I have with Salinger is there's lots and lots of description, a lot of things I feel are unnecessary. It could have been shortened, and that's just the sort of writer I am, so that's the sort of reader I'm going to be. And I tend to skip over things like that. I know, shoot me, I'm a terrible person. But besides that, it was a lovely book. Besides the odious descriptions occasionally, Wilde had that too, so it's not it's something bad necessarily in a writer. It's just something that I personally do not like. But the dialogue was lovely. The characters are so round. It's lovely. He really knows how to develop a good character. And this whole Glass family, which this book is about, apparently the story of the Glass family goes off in more short stories, and apparently one of the brothers of Franny and Zooey are actually Holden Caulfield. And it's just very interesting to see J.D. Salinger have this family made up in his mind, and just write about them mostly. So I find that very interesting about Salinger. And so check this book out. I would definitely read this book. It's just really good, and if you're an adolescent, it's one of those necessary books that you need. And so I'm going to read you the first few pages. Hopefully you like it. Though brilliantly sunny, Saturday morning was overcoat weather again. Not just topcoat weather, as it had been all week, and as everyone had hoped it would stay for the big weekend, the weekend of the Yale game. Of 20-some young men who were waiting at the station for their dates to arrive on the 10:52, no more than 6 or 7 were out on the cold, open platform. The rest were standing in a hatless, smoky little groups of 2s and 3s and 4s inside the heated waiting room, talking in voices that almost without exception sounded collegiately dogmatic, as though each young man in the strident conversational turn was clearing up, once and for all, some highly controversial issue, one on the outside, non-matriculating world had been bungling, provocatively or not, for centuries. I find this interesting that it's cynical already, and that the narrator is cynical, and also the characters are cynical, and it just perpetuates. J.D. Salinger was one very, bitter, cynical person, and I like that about him, sort of. So, I would check this book out. It's very cynical. If you're very angsty and misanthropic, check it out. And if you're not, get to see how the other side lives. So, bye. Have a good day.